got here maybe an hour ago. They just find him under the rubble.
Yeah, he said he wanted out.
No story would command more media attention than Rubble Man.
They were cleaning out a grocery store looking for food, and they heard him crying.
Doctors believe rice vendor Evans Monsegrace was pulled from a collapsed marketplace after 28 days buried alive. He became headline news around the world.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's right here. It is a miracle.
It's a miracle in Wonderland.
Yeah. God do things. Nothing is impossible with God, okay?
Upon arriving at the hospital, emaciated and delirious, Evans repeatedly begged doctors to let him die.
The first few days, he kind of aware of what's going on. When he trapped under all the wobbles, he said he couldn't move. But the wobble fall on top of him, he will be able to crawl. He screamed from help, but he hear voices outside, but nobody able to hear him because he screamed so much, he lost his voice. And then after that, when he thirsty, there's some mud water. He able to drink the mud water, so he able to survive. And then all the days that he was under the wobble, he called God's name. That's a very powerful experience. And God answered his prayer after 28 days.
The Tent Hospital would witness so many rounds of the circle of life.
From the worst to the best. From the sadness to the happiness, it's just amazing. You know, I was crying because a patient was dying, and now look, this little miracle here.
Babies coming too soon, and loved ones for whom it was too late.
We had a young girl that we went into the tent and we were just doing some care. She was really sick in the isolation tent. And, you know, we moved her to a special mattress that was softer, and we gave her a bath and cleaned her up. And as I finished wiping her face, she just lifted her arm up and died right there. And that when it hit me that it's like, wow, like this is real.
In the end, far more lives were saved than lost, at least at this outpost. When it came time to leave, everyone walked away thinner, wiser, and in awe of their experiences.
Awesome. This group of medical personnel, I would take anywhere in the world.
Awesome experience. It was great. I'm definitely coming back.
Best thing I've ever done in my life.
But it's the patience they will never forget.
One girl, her name is Mirland, and she lost her mom, her dad, her brother, and her sister, and her house. She has a open fracture of her right lower extremity, and for 3 days I've been trying to go ahead and give her a below the knee amputation, and she's been crying and crying and crying, and for some weird reason I ended up being in the same OR where she was to help translate, and she was talking to everyone, and she touched so many people to get them to think that they found a way to be able to take part of the bone out, fuse them both together to hopefully keep her extremity.
The kid that's really touched me the most is a small 5-year-old that came in yesterday with tetanus, a disease we don't see in the United States at all. She is significantly ill. We've given her everything we can, and she's still dying of tetanus. We don't even see that in the United States anymore.
There's this 14-month-old boy which came last night with respiratory failure. The sad thing is that I spoke to Dad. He's very intelligent, very smart. Speaks English very well, and he told us that he lost his mom, he lost his wife, and all her friends, and he's alone now with this child.
We had one patient, a 6-year-old girl, who really never want to say the word emergency, but this girl was really on the verge, and she ended up in a helicopter, separated from her parents, and she ended up dying alone on the helicopter and heading to the boat, and her father spent the night here waiting for another helicopter to pick them up. And it was just such a heart-wrenching situation for the people, that transit people, for me, her physicians here, that we had worked so hard to really try to save her life. And and it got fouled up in just the worst way possible.
I got to see something in passing that nobody else saw. This young guy was leaning over his wife. She had a broken arm, broken leg, and you could see in his eyes that he was just saying, I'm never going to take you for granted again. So how could we do that to such a great people, you know?
And it was amazing to see all the heroes and heroines that came out of this story. I could have written a movie about 100 people a day, what they did, how they grabbed arteries that were pumping and put tourniquets on people who were about to lose their last drop of blood. It was just amazing, the heroics. I never saw such carnage or experienced such helplessness. The only way you can explain this is if something good and permanent is gonna rise from these smoke and ashes. And I believe it will. I've never been more optimistic.
I will hope that our government or any other government in the world will understand for long-term recovery of this country, a major international effort will be necessary to recover this country. We are doing what we can for the short term, for the acute phase, but this is not a sprint. This is a marathon.
These people have nothing, and they continue to work to survive. And we do what we can do to help them with the resources that we have. And we could only ask the people in America to continue to donate to Medishare, supplies, money, what have you, so that the good work here being done by Medishare can continue.
The ups and downs are pretty extreme. The second night I was here, a gentleman came in, and he came into each tent, and they started singing. And the children were up dancing, and everybody was smiling, and everybody was clapping. And everybody was so joyful and was so happy.